Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Sanae Chiba, the Pisces. I'm one of the co-chair of the SmartNet. So this is a very short and casual meeting. So let's start with the introduction, self-introduction of the co-chair. Then I would like to ask all speakers to have a short self-introduction just before your presentation. So Steve, please.
Yeah, hello everybody, whatever time it is where you are. Good to see you all. I'm really excited to hear about all of your projects. So, yeah, I'm Stephen Bograd. I'm with NOAA in the US in California and one of the SmartNet co-chairs, and I'll give a quick introduction to SmartNet in a couple of minutes.
And David.
Yeah, hi everybody. I echo everything Stephen said. It's great to see you all. Only ever seen you in emails so far, so that's quite great that we've got that. Yeah, so I'm Stephen and Sani's co-chair. I work in ICES in Copenhagen. I'm the science committee chair there, and co-chair for SmartNet. So I'll give you a wee talk a little later about what ICES can do for you.
Good. And probably I should introduce our coordinator, SmartNet coordinator, Chen Yang. So Chen Yang, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Chen Yang and my English name is Catherine. I come from China and now I'm working in ODCC. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so let me share the today's agenda. So there has been a little bit change in agenda. The first item is the SmartNet introduction by Stephen and Dave, the SmartNet co-chairs. Then this followed by the introduction of the Ocean Decade International Cooperation Center in China. This is a partner of the SmartNet, this Catherine belongs to. And after that, we will have a presentation of 7 partner project here. I hope everyone is here. And after that, we have a brand new partner project like here. So I'm not sure how many of these project people are here, but I hope some of them can very briefly introduce that. And if we have enough time, we will have some discussion and a Q&A session. Okay, let's start with uh, SmartNet introduction by Stephen and Dave.
Great,
Okay.
thanks. Yeah, so I think I'll start the SmartNet presentation. Then you've got a short ICES presentation, Dave, I think.
Yep, that's
Let me,
great.
okay, let me share my screen here. Okay. All right. Hopefully everyone could see the slides okay. So I'm really excited to have this meeting here and talk to you a little bit about SmartNet. So what is SmartNet? Well, first of all, that's an acronym which stands for Sustainability of Marine Ecosystems through Global Knowledge Network. So we were endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade as a program, actually back in the first round of endorsements back in what was it, 2021. And then this is our SmartNet coordination team that we've already introduced ourselves, myself and Dave, Sanai, and Catherine. And that QR code there on the left is for our new website, so please have a look at that. Okay, so what is SmartNet? So our primary objective is to convene global partners through knowledge networks. And this is to facilitate research, knowledge generation, and also capacity sharing in support of sustainable marine ecosystems in a changing climate. So a very broad goal. And then our second objective related to that is um, to leverage and build upon a long time ICES Pisces collaborations. And really, this is the motivation for trying to use the unique opportunity of the UN Ocean Decade to provide some leadership to the decade through these intergovernmental organizations, ICES and PICES, and to expand our networks beyond our typical domains, again, with the goal of increasing resilience of marine and coastal resources and the communities that depend on them. So in terms of scientific themes, it's pretty broad, but focused mostly around areas of climate change, fisheries, ecosystem-based management, social ecological dynamics of marine systems, and coastal communities. And I mentioned we are really trying to leverage the collaborations that ICES and PICES have had together for decades. And so this just lists a few of the existing joint expert groups that ICES and PICES have, a few of the subjects there. And we're always looking for more opportunities to develop joint ICES, PICES expert groups on particular themes. So what is our SmartNet strategy? First off, it's knowledge production. And we do this through, in part, those joint expert groups that I just mentioned in the previous slide within ICES and PICES, but also through the networking that we do with all of you and our partners. We are motivated by sharing of knowledge. And again, that's promoted at least in part through our ICES, PICES frameworks, our meetings, our publications, our data sharing opportunities, et cetera. And then in terms of the network, so we're trying to expand our knowledge network by collaborating with other Ocean Decade programs, partner organizations, and of course, all of you, the projects that are right now under the SmartNet umbrella, all part of the network. And then finally, we're trying to engage with and empower diverse and underrepresented communities to try to include local and traditional knowledge and really just expand our engagement broadly. So in practical terms, those are the elements of our strategy. In practical terms, one of the things that SmartNet has been doing, and I'll mention this in a moment, is this what we call the Ocean We Want surveys to get a sense of what the general public around the world wants out of the Ocean Decade. And ultimately, what we want to do is use this knowledge production and sharing to contribute to decision-making and promote ocean solutions. So one of the key ways that we engage and participate in our broad communities and networks is through workshops that we hold or sessions that we hold at key international fora. Most prominently, we've done this at the ICES and PICES annual meetings. We've done other workshops as well, for example, at the ECWO meeting and the Ocean Decade Science meetings as well. So just as an example, at last year's ICES meeting, which was held in Lithuania in September, we held this really interesting session on climate-ready fisheries management in the UN Decade of Ocean Science. And this session was really, really good in providing a glimpse of how climate information is being integrated into fisheries management across very diverse settings. Most of these were across Europe and North America. But it's very interesting. And one of the things that we want to do coming out of this workshop and other workshops is to potentially produce a white paper that would outline good practices for supporting climate-ready fisheries management. And then we kind of followed up that workshop with a couple of more workshops a couple of months later at the PICES annual meeting in Yokohama. So we did another workshop on climate-ready fisheries management, reviewing effective strategies for developing decision support tools. And then we also held a workshop on engaging with local and traditional knowledge holders to co-design ocean science in Pacific small island developing states. And this is an area in which SmartNet is really trying to push our efforts in capacity sharing. We have a few ECOPs who are part of the SmartNet program who led this workshop, and they were able to secure some funding to bring several invited speakers from SIDS across different small island developing states in the Pacific to this workshop. And we're hoping to have follow-up workshops in future meetings. In fact, I'll just mention that at the Pisces annual meeting coming up this year, which is in October in Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada, we will have a couple of SmartNet promoted workshops that kind of follow up on these two themes as well. And so we really hope that many of you will or can come to the Pisces annual meeting in October, and ICES as well, which I'm sure Dave will mention as well. So I mentioned this one activity that SmartNet is involved in. It's the Ocean We Want survey project, and this is led by Makino-san from the University of Tokyo and others. And so the idea behind this is the meme, or the theme basically of the Ocean Decade is the science we need for the ocean we want. But that begs the question, what is the ocean we want? And in fact, who is we, right? So we need to get a good sense of that for the decade to actually accomplish something and be successful. And so that's the intent of this survey. Mikino-san and others have conducted a survey with the public across right now through 8 different countries, and there's many more that are being planned. And just from the preliminary results from the survey, one thing they're finding is that there's a few basic decade objectives that are really given high priority across these different demographics and across these different nations. So a clean ocean, a healthy ocean, and a productive ocean are very high priority. Japan gives a high priority to a safe ocean around risk communication. And France, Chile, and Indonesia give a high priority to an inspiring ocean, so around the ideas of education. People in Germany and Australia have a particularly strong sense of responsibility around some of these ocean challenges. And one thing that Makino-san and partners have done is to try to present a model that describes the relationship between individual values, the concerns, the sense of responsibility, and see how that is common or different across the 8 countries that have been surveyed. And within this year, the plan is to do 30 or 40 more countries as well. The plan ultimately is once the Ocean Decade ends, following 2030, they want to do another survey and basically get a sense of how well did the Ocean Decade do in meeting these challenges and meeting the public's expectations of what could be done. This is just a reminder and to put something on our radar that the next Ocean Decade Conference, last one was in last summer. There's going to be one in April 2027 in Brazil. We don't know a lot about it yet. They're still in the planning stages, but we do anticipate that SmartNet and our broader network will want to play a key role here. So there will be opportunities for example, hosting a workshop or town hall event. And so we will probably reach out to you for ideas and contributions to that effort. And finally, just the SmartNet network. Well, what is it? So I mentioned, we have other Ocean Decade programs that we work with. All these Ocean Decade projects that you all represent here are partner organizations beyond ICES and Pisces, of course. And we're trying to collaborate across a number of these themes. And one of the key themes is this Ocean Decade Climate Fisheries Nexus. And in this, SmartNet is working with several other endorsed Ocean Decade programs and projects where we're really trying to build global networks to transform our capacity to understand, forecast, manage, and adapt to climate-driven changes in our ocean ecosystems. And for this, we're actually organizing with our partners a monthly webinar series on the Climate Fisheries Blue Foods Nexus. And one opportunity that all of you will hopefully have, if you are interested in providing a presentation on your projects on that monthly webinar series, we would love for you to do that. And at least to just join the webinar series as well. And then, of course, there's all of you. We have our Ocean Decade endorsed projects. We have several more that have been submitted and are under review. And I think I will just leave the presentation at that and just say I'm super excited. This is the first time we're getting all of our partner projects together on the same call. I'm really happy that we're all here, and hopefully we can figure out ways that we can collaborate better together as we move forward. So, thank you.
So, Dave, you have a presentation to share?
I do. Just hang fire. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yeah, it's yeah.
I can put
Yep.
it into
Sure.
presentation mode. Okay, so thanks to Stephen for a really comprehensive coverage of SmartNet. So I'm not going to talk about SmartNet anymore, but all this stuff that I am going to talk about allows you guys to link into SmartNet and to ICES. So I'm going to give you a quick, I think it's a 5-slide adventure through ICES science, and at the end of it, we can consider how you can get involved. So yeah, just swiftly moving on. So many of you probably are not that sure what ICES is. So we're a UN treaty organization that we have 19 member countries, a couple in North America, US and Canada, and the rest in Europe. We also have associate members in South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and Brazil. And what's really interesting is well, those are our member countries, and associate members. We also have partners, people who come to our meetings and work with us from about 120 other countries in the course of a couple of years. So it's quite a wide participation, and not all of them are member countries. The most obvious example is Italy, who are really, really strongly involved with us. But we also have people from Mexico and other South American countries, other African countries, so on and so forth. So yeah, this is our sort of mission statement. I always hate putting these things up, but yeah, that's what it's about. Advance and share scientific understanding. So that's our network role. We're not going to do all this ourselves, but we get engaged in networks like SmartNet to continue to do that, but also work with people like the FAO, the CBD, and so on. And we're looking at both marine ecosystems and their services, which takes you into the context of social ecological systems. And the idea, the central part of what ICES does is it generates advice. I call it state of the art here. It's not necessarily, it is state of the art. It's based on the idea of best available science, which should be robust and repeatable. And we have 3 major groups that put that together. We have the science side, which is what I lead. We have a data center who assemble a whole lot of databases and pieces of information about the sea, very strongly focused on fisheries because that's one of our central concepts. And then we have the advice department, which is led by my colleague, Colm Lorden. And the idea is that the science and the data feed into the data feeds into the science, and that feeds into the advice. We produce a lot of stuff. We have something in the order of 3,500 to 4,000 experts on a fairly regular basis. We produce, believe it or not, 240 advisory products. Most of those are about fish, but many of them are about ecosystem-based fisheries management. They're about ecosystem drivers. They're about what's going to happen with all these wind farms that we're putting up. It's about vulnerable marine ecosystems. We're also heading towards a more social, ecological view of the world. So looking at the impact of wind farms on the social ecological desires or needs of people. And we produce a whole range of scientific reports across the year. So we have what we call science themes, 7 science themes, and there'll be a bit of repetition here, so forgive me. But it's split into 7 little domains: marine ecosystem science, which is a lot of the stuff where we just go out and try and understand what's happening in the ecosystem in general, not just with the fishing pressure, but all the other pressures on it. So what's the science that we can do there? Second one is impacts of human activities going across the top. So that's obviously, again, fishing, but ICES is not all about fish. It's got many other aspects to it. So this can include things like shipping, it can include offshore wind, it can include all the impacts of climate change and so on. Next one's observation and exploration. So this is probably what a lot of you guys are doing in many ways, is trying to find out what's going on in the ocean. For us, it's about both a combination of monitoring activities onshore and at sea. And that, to a greater or lesser extent, that still involves research vessels, big and small, right down to very little research vessels. It also involves sampling on the shore. It also involves sampling in the ports to see what's being landed. It also involves working with stakeholders. It also involves citizen science. So there's a lot of different ways you can explore the sea. And that sort of segues nicely into emerging techniques and technologies. So we also have a very big interest in the methods for observing what goes on in the ocean. So this would be acoustic methods of observation as well as our old standard fishing nets. It would be television cameras placed into the water, either on nets or on ground fixed stations. And it could be about things like eDNA, and it even includes the inclusion of artificial intelligence. Next one is food from the sea, and that's what most people think we do most of. That's about giving advice on the management of commercially exploited marine stocks. So that's not just fish, it includes things like crustacea and cephalopods. It also includes looking at seaweeds. It involves looking at aquaculture as well as wild capture activities. So it's a very broad link between what you can get from the sea and what you're doing to it. Conservation and restoration science. This used to be the science of conservation, but it's now also about restoration. In Europe, we have a new nature restoration law. And of course, one of the key problems is restore to what, and can you actually get to that restoration? So we're building up that activity at the moment. And finally, sea and society, which is all about the people that are involved in the sea. There's a famous saying that managing fisheries is managing people. But of course, managing all the impacts of human activities on the sea is really important. And also getting into the dependencies of people on the sea. In Europe, we're fairly sort of, we see the sea, if you see what I mean, but we don't necessarily worry too much about it. But if you live on a small island developing state in the Pacific, you know all about what the sea could do to you. Or if you live in Bangladesh, or if you live in parts of the Caribbean. So you have this issue of how we live together with the sea in a way that gets the goods and services we want out of it and doesn't destroy it. And that's really my strongest theme is what we're trying to do is get what we need out of the sea without destroying the possibility of my children and your children getting what they need out of the sea. I hope this all doesn't sound like a political speech. I actually believe in most of this stuff. So last year we developed our next science plan, which is taking forward what we do. One of the really interesting things is we're working on our strategy at the moment. Everybody has to have a strategy. And as part of that, we looked at the last strategy we produced, which was 20 years ago. And amazingly, almost everything in that strategy is still there, but with a couple of others. And so what we did last year was identify the critical challenges to the marine social ecological systems upon which we depend. So that's both social and ecological. So it covers both sides of the coin. It will come as no surprise to you that climate change is the main thing, but we're interested in many different aspects of climate change. It's not necessarily just removing things and making it hotter. It also means fish are moving in different places, in different directions. Many other animals are. Much of our MPA networks are not climate ready. As Stephen pointed out, a lot of what we do needs climate ready fisheries. If fish start to move, then you need to be able to understand that. If the ecosystem is driving productivity, you need to be able to understand that. Biodiversity crisis is something that trips off people's lips quite easily, but nobody's quite sure what we mean by the biodiversity crisis, what level of biodiversity, what type of biodiversity. It's often taken to mean species richness, but it could also mean a more nuanced thing like species evenness. It could also mean what's happening to the rare and unusual animals. It could also mean genetic diversity. It could mean functional diversity. So there's a lot of different elements in that one. Sustainable food from the sea, I've talked about already. That's important in both, like European developed countries, where it's part of trying to be self-sustainable. But it's obviously critically important if you live in a low income area where the sea can provide you good quality protein that you can't get any other way. Pollution, many people think that pollution was solved a few years ago. We knew about things like tributyl, tin, and heavy metal, and so on. But of course, in the interim, we've produced many, many new chemicals and products that go into the ocean. And most of those are rarely, if ever, monitored, and very few of them have thresholds, and for very few of them do we understand anything like lethal dose 50% or whatever. And this also covers macro and micro plastics. One of the things that's becoming increasingly important for us, and in Europe particularly, but I guess this will probably happen everywhere, is we're getting a more and more crowded marine space. The world used to be, it was fishing boats out there and transport ships. And now, of course, we've got wind farms, we've got marine protected areas spring up in many places under the 30 by 30 ideas. So there's a lot of changes going on in the way the space is being used. And that in itself has ecological impact. And then the human dimension of it all. How do the humans fit into this, and what's the best way for humans to fit into it? So you can see the overlap with our themes, but it's also a more cross-cutting way of looking at things. So how can you get involved? Well, the first thing you can do is talk to me, and I have already put numbers of you in touch with some of our expert groups. This expert group at the side is the Western Shelf Seas Ecology Working Group, meeting in the truly nasty circumstances of Cadiz in Spain on a nice sunny day. So it's a real struggle to do this sort of work, but somebody has to do it. That's me sort of in the middle there with his arms crossed. And so these groups are responsible for carrying out most of our science. So this one's a working group, and we have many working groups. So this is subtly different between us and Pisces, but don't worry about it. There's lots of parallels. And so our working groups run for 3 or 4 years, and then may or may not get renewed after that, depending on not only how they're doing, but whether they perceive they still have more work to do. We have workshops, which are a specific action to look at one particular thing. We use these a lot in the advice role, but we also have them in the science role. I personally have led one workshop which went to 7 meetings, but we called the last one 6B to avoid embarrassment. So there's a lot of workshops you can attend as well. We have a number of strategic initiatives, so most particularly in climate change. So this is a cross-cutting look at where climate change impacts on everything in the marine environment, and then vice versa. We have what we call Early Career Scientists Strategic Initiative, and what Pisces calls Early Career Ocean Professionals. The two names are largely synonymous. And they have a lot of activities going on in support of early career scientists, and I can put you in touch with them. We've also just started a new one on a strategic initiative on biodiversity, science, and advice. So that's starting to bring together all the work on biodiversity that we know goes on in both our network and in the wider network, and make a coherent whole out of it. And finally, I have 8 really wonderful people who manage all these groups, the working groups, the workshops, and the strategic initiatives. And that's all made into 8 steering groups who manage a suite of these expert groups. And then sitting on the top of it is me, the spider at the middle of the web. I'll just finish with this. This shows you all it's just a whole pool of a word cloud out of everything we do. And it's pretty impressive, I think. It goes right across the board from stock assessment to fisheries, to marine ecosystems, to benchmarking, to surveys, technology, observatories, you name it, eels. We also have various different organizations we work with, like FARO. I could go on. Baltic, our big issue at the moment. So that's it from me. What I suggest you do is have a look at our website, but it's not the greatest website in the world as yet. It's being fixed up this year. But if you have any interest in a particular subject area, so when I was looking at your proposals, many of you I tried to link up to our working groups. And most of our working groups are open to involvement. You just need a chair invite. And a chair invite simply means going and asking the chair if you can come along. So I strongly recommend you do that. You can come as an observer. You can bring your case studies to these groups and people can help you work on them. Or you can actually be a serious part of the writing the report and perhaps even producing the papers that come out of all these things, the joint papers. So I'll stop there and let you guys talk.
Thank you, Dave. We would like to take any question after all presentation finished. So next agenda is an introduction of Ocean Decade International Cooperation Center, China. Yeah. So please, Zheng Wei.
Okay, thank you, Chairs. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes. My name is Zheng Wei. I'm the Executive Director of the Ocean Decade International Cooperation Center, China. Yes, our center serves as the Secretary of the China's National Decade Committee. Yeah. Today it's my great pleasure to introduce the progress of our center and the framework of the Ocean Decade. Sorry. Oh, my report consists of the three parts. The first part is a brief introduction. The second is some recent progress of the center. The third part is cooperation with the PACES. Yeah. Our center is jointly established by the Ministry of Natural Resources, Shandong Province, and Qingdao Municipality. And in 2023, the three government branches signed a framework agreement on our center, ODCC. And these are some signing ceremony, or some photos of signing ceremony. And the Vice Minister of the Ministry of the Natural Resources, the Vice Governor of Shandong Province, and the Mayor of Qingdao Municipality attend the ceremony. Yeah. The government pay a greater importance to the center. And our center is supported by 5 parties, including the Qingdao Municipal Marine Development Bureau, Qingdao West Coast New Area Management Committee, the First Institute of Oceanography, the North China Sea Bureau, the National Deep Sea Center. The 5 parties support our center, and these 5 parties signed an implementation agreement in 2024. And at the same time, the first steering committee was successfully organized. Yes. Sorry, cannot go. Sorry. And for our center, now we are DIP of the Ocean Decade. In 2024, the Julian, the global coordinator of the Ocean Decade, announced during the 2024 Global Ocean Development Forum that our center was officially approved as a DIP for the Ocean Decade. And regarding the objective of the center, Focusing on the vision and the mission of the Ocean Decade, ODCC, our center aims to become a comprehensive, innovative, and leading international cooperation platform under the UN Ocean Decade Initiative. And this is the 5 tasks of the center. And the first is parties involved the UN Ocean Decade. And the second is promote the international cooperation in the region. And the third task is to facilitate the global ocean governance, that promote deepen the cooperation in some key area. And the fourth task is establish the concentration area for the ocean-related international cooperation. And the last task is to promote Qingdao Qingdao's role as a leading modern marine city. This is the 5 tasks of the center. And the second part is some recent progress of the center. Regarding a new platform to support the Ocean Decade, our center support implementation of the Ocean Decade Decade program and project in China, and we innovative established the Ocean Decade China Action International Cooperation Seed Fund project, and in 2024, and 19 projects was selected for funding, and building the and also the research outcomes from the project contribute to the development of China's new plan for the Ocean Decade. And last year, we successfully organized the first Ocean Decade International Coastal Cities Conference, and it took place on February last year, and the theme is Better Ocean, Better City, and it's hosted by the IOC and the Qingdao Municipality, and our center is a local organizer. And this conference is very successful, and we released the Qingdao Declaration, and also present some ecological conservation and restoration practice of the 4 coastal cities. And we also welcome the 8 members to the Cities with Ocean platform. This platform is a new initiative, platform initiated by the IOC. And I will introduce the platform later, yeah. And as a new carrier for high-level East Asian marine cooperation, now every year we will organize the Global Ocean Development Forum. And last year, we have successfully hosted the forum 2 times. And last year, about 700 guests from about 6 to 8 countries and regions attended the forum. It's very successful and fruitful. And this forum has become a very important event in the region, yeah. As a new source of the innovation for the ocean governance in China, our center has participated in drafting and launched 16 global initiative toolkits and public goods. This is the International Advisory Committee of the center. It consists of the 29 the members covering different areas. And we also host several international organizations such as Pogo Regional Node Office and China PMC Center. And last year we host a new secretary. Just I mentioned the secretary of the UN Ocean Decade Cities with Ocean platform. And this secretary, this platform is initiated by the IOC. Now we host the secretary. It aims to promote the cooperation among coastal cities. And then last year, during the opening ceremony of the 2020 of the Global Ocean Development Forum, Vidar, the executive secretary of the IOC, announced the official launch of this secretary. The next part is about capacity building. since our establishment, we have co-organized more than 10 marine-related capacity building. Yes, covering the area of the marine environmental monitoring and forecasting, marine ecosystem protection, and fishery, different area. And also as an engine for the high quality development of blue economy, and also organize a lot of activity to promote the cooperation in the blue economy. And we also create some best practice for marine ecological protection. The next is about cooperation with PACES. Yes, during the 2024 PACES annual meeting, PACES and our center signed a MOU to facilitate cooperation between PACES and ODCC with a will to promote the UN Ocean Decade Initiative. This is some cooperation area under the MOU. And for future cooperation, we have some suggestions. Firstly, because our center is currently building a global knowledge network focused on the sustainable development and resilience of coastal cities. And we hope that we can strengthen cooperation with SmartNet and PACES in this field. Yeah. Secondly, we want to we will propose to organize seminars and related activity focused on the 10 challenge addressed by the UN Ocean Decade. And thirdly, we propose to organize the training course or other related activities to build capacity for the younger generation. And also PACES and attach the great importance to the translation of science outcome into a governance solution for coastal cities. Now our center hosts the Secretary of the Cities with Ocean platform. We propose that we can we can jointly develop and promote the global ocean governance toolkits, such as coastal toolkits, urban resilience assessment toolkits. Yeah, this is some suggestion for the future cooperation. And also for the, just I mentioned, every year we will organize the Global Ocean Development Forum. For this year, we will organize the forum in September. And the theme is let's see our future. This forum covered a wide range of topics, including marine fishery, climate change, ocean governance, and blue economy. So we also welcome the interested partner to attend this forum. And then another forum is the Ocean Decade Coastal City Blue Partnership Forum. We will hold this forum during our ocean conference in Mombasa on June the 17th this year. And this forum will be joint convent with IOC, the Mombasa County Government, UN Habitat, our center, and also the DCC Ocean Economy based in Barcelona. And we hope this forum aims to establish an international blue partnership platform for coastal cities, focus on the integrated advancement of blue economy and ecosystem protection, and by fostering a city-based collaboration network that brings together science, policy, and practice. The forum seeks to jointly explore sustainable pathway for ocean governance, contributing to the vision of the ocean, the UN Ocean Decade and the SDG. Yeah, we also welcome the interested partner to attend this forum in Mombasa. Okay, thank you. This is the presentation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. So we are a little bit behind the time, so we want to go to the next agenda. It's a presentation of 7 partner projects. The first one is a global integration Seabird time series by Bill Sidman.
Okay, let me share.
Could you please stop sharing then?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for putting together this workshop. This is great to hear about all these things that are going on relative to SmartNet. So I have a very brief presentation, and our project is called the Global Integration of Seabird Time Series, or GISTs. My co-conspirators on this project are Dr. Helen Colleen, who was a postdoc with us for a while, and Sarah Ann Thompson, who is the database manager for this project. I should say a little bit of history about it. It's not really a new project. It started in about 2010 when a group of seabird ecologists and fisheries scientists got together in Cape Town, South Africa, to harmonize a bunch of data sets on seabird breeding success relative to the abundance of small pelagic fish, relative to fisheries management and put together an analysis that looked at the thresholds of responses. And that resulted in a paper that I think has gotten to be fairly famous. It's called 1/3 for the Birds, which indicates that the amount of fish that you need to leave in the marine environment for birds is about 1/3 of the maximum biomass in order to maintain their breeding success. And so at that point in time, again, this is about 2010, we put together, we had 7 different ecosystems. And then over the next decade, really until about 2020 or so, we continued to build data sets, and with a variety of different emphases, if you will. We switched to looking at climate change and effects on marine ecosystems through the eyes of seabirds, using seabirds as indicators. We looked at pollution. We looked at a variety of different things. So this has been sort of a long-term project that then was a very natural fit into SmartNet. Let's see. So where we are right now is we have a global seabird working group, and I'm the lead of that. I should say, oh, by the way, I'm from Farallon Institute. It's a small nonprofit research group in Northern California, and we're the ones that are guiding this project at the moment. But we have lots and lots of collaborators and data contributors from around the world. To date, we have 76 data contributors that have been sending information in and sending data on kind of an annual scale that we've been putting into this giant database that we've been building. We've focused so far on looking at standardized breeding success of seabirds, because breeding success is a very well understood parameter for seabirds. We know that it reflects the underlying abundance of their prey and the robustness and the resilience of the food webs in different marine ecosystems around the world. To date, the standardized breeding success database includes about 75 different seabird breeding species. Some of these species are coastal, like terns and gulls, and some of them range widely over thousands of kilometers in the open ocean, like albatrosses and things like that. The black points that you can see in this map are the breeding colonies that are represented. We have about 91 breeding colonies around the world. The concentrations of the data are pretty obvious. They're in the Northeast Pacific and Northeast Atlantic, where a lot of long-term seabird monitoring has taken place. They're the same sort of mid-latitude concentrations in the Southern Hemisphere, and actually the amount of data between the two hemispheres is fairly equal. But there definitely is a dearth of data in the tropics, but this is developing. The reason that this is shown this way is that we we only used sites where we had at least 10 years of data. And many of the studies that were done in the tropics were sort of short term. So as these projects develop, then we'll be able to integrate more data from tropical and subtropical regions into the data set. The span of the data at the moment is about the mid-1960s to to about 2024, and we have about 6,500 annual data points of seabird breeding success, and that allows us to do substantial comparative analyses between ecosystems, between hemispheres, between ocean domains, and also between seabird life history characteristics. And different birds, definitely, like all organisms, different birds respond quite differently to climate signals or changes in their prey base. Another thing that we did is we developed an interactive web story, and you can see the QR code there or the URL. This web story is about observing seabirds and how, in doing so, we can understand oceans. We're really proud of this product. I urge you all to take a look at it. It's a very attractive web story, and you can dig as deeply into it as you'd like. Some of it gets pretty technical. We're focused on stratification in particular and how changes in ocean stratification affect food webs and then affect the success of the birds. The web story outreach so far is shown here. Lots and lots of hits over the last year plus. The majority of them is, of course, coming from the United States, but we've been having a global impact in terms of this web story as well. Of course, part of what we do is try to get the science out there, and the last paper that we've published was really about an ecosystem by ecosystem analysis of changes in breeding success relative to changes in ocean temperature and ocean stratification. Excuse me for a moment. And we found that there were very large differences between ecosystems and how well the birds were doing, what their trends in breeding success were. In a nutshell, in the Atlantic and the Arctic, there were declines in breeding success pretty much across all different life histories of the birds, whereas in the Pacific, things were much more stable. And so it looks like the ecosystems that have been subjected to greater human use over a longer period of time are the ones that are showing more and more of these kinds of long-term impacts. We also have another manuscript in preparation for science, and this is again about using seabirds as indicators of changes in epipelagic food webs. And the title of this paper is Seabird Breeding Success Indicates Deteriorating Epipelagic Food Webs in the World's Oceans. And again, this is based on the concept that how well the birds do in their reproduction is ultimately reflective of the robustness of the underlying food webs and prey resource availability that is supporting those birds. This paper is not yet accepted, so we're working on a revision at the moment. And then I think that, bringing this home a little bit to what's going on these days, one of the things we've been talking about is how do we use our global network to try to understand the ecosystem consequences of the purported super El Nino event that's developing, and that should be actively affecting the globe in later in 2026 and into 2027. I hope I've convinced you that the seabirds can provide signals to changes in marine ecosystems that are then tractable and have implications for fisheries and human socio-ecological systems as well. So that's something that we're paying attention to at this time. And that's it. Happy to take any questions if there's any time for that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
You are welcome.
Yep. And next presentation is Tracking Ghost Gear and Recovery Resources by Randa Mejri. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly.
No, you did it well. Thank you. So I will share my screen. Can you see it?
Not yet? Yes?
Yeah. Just I'm trying to put it on presentation mode. Just a moment. Okay. You can see it? Okay, it's okay?
Not yet? Oh, yes.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to present our project. Our project, which is named ClearMed. So my name is Mejri Randa. I'm an assistant professor in marine biology at the University of Sfax in Tunisia. And I'm working especially on studying coastal ecosystem and the impact of climate change on the distribution of benthic community, and also tracking invasion alongside our coasts, especially on insular ecosystem. Today I will present and introduce our project called ClearMed, or Tracking Ghost Shear and Recovery Resources in Mediterranean Sea, especially in the Gulf of Gabes. And this project is an officially endorsed action of the Ocean Decade, hosted under the SmartNet program and carried out in partnership with Ghost Fishing Solution, worldwide fund for the nature of North Africa, our national agency for coastal protection, and the SmartNet, which is the North African Network for Marine Turtle Conservation. It's a project of 3 years running from 2025 to 2028, focusing especially on the most underestimated threat of the seas, or of our seas, which is ghost shear or plastic. So I don't know if you know where is Tunisia, or where is located. In fact, Tunisia is located in the Mediterranean Sea. It's a North African country, and it is characterized by a prominent eastern coastal and 3K geographical gulf. Our project is focalized especially on the south, especially on the Gulf of Gabes, which is a key ecosystem for Tunisia, but also for the Mediterranean, as it is a nursery and a high productive ecosystem for the whole Mediterranean Sea. This ecosystem is hosting almost 52% of the national fleet and produce 40% of the country fish, but it produces also a lot of resources for the whole Mediterranean, as I see before. But this ecosystem is also under silent threat, because every year thousands of net, long line, and trawl are lost or abandoned at sea. This plastic equipment don't just appear, don't just disappear, because they continue to trap and to kill marine animals for years. Especially we can cite mammals and sea turtles, but also birds. They damage Posidonia seagrass, which is one of the most important one in the Mediterranean Sea, and they and as you know, it is one of the vital carbon sink and a nursery for many species. And we estimate that at least for the long line, we have at least a rate of close 60% of loss each year. So as you see, it's not just an ecological emergency, but also it's a direct economic loss for the coastal community, and especially for fishermen that are acting in this ecosystem. So ClearMed was designed to solve this problem. ClearMed is based on a strategy focused on 4 integrated pillars, each led by a dedicated partner. The first one is the digital tracking led by Ghost Fishing Solution. This part aim to attach smart electronic tracker to pilot gear, and this tracker will send real-time GPS alert at the moment of the loss of a net, allowing rapid recovery for fishermen. All data feeds into a cloud platform with interactive risk map open to scientists and policymakers. Second pillar is the community engagement, and fishermen will become sea sentinel because we will train them to use tracking tools, document losses, and report standard gear through a mobile application. Third, we will put not an application, but we'll try to recover and to upcycle the lost gear. And we are aiming to develop many SMEs in relation with this topic. And finally, the fourth pillar is to put an inclusive governance because we need that national and local steering community brings together ministry, NGOs, and fishermen with academia to embed these practices into a coastal management policy for the long term. As you see, the results that are expected are three, and for environmentally perspective, we will restore ecosystem, especially regarding Posidonia, which is a critical blue carbon habitat, and we will protect animals, especially sea turtles, marine mammals, and seabird from accidental bycatch, and also we will reduce plastic pollution and help to rebuild fish stock. And we are actually losing many stocks due to this kind of pollution, but due to other challenges facing this Gulf. We have also a socio-economically impact because many of the fishery industry is based on artisanal fishers, and when we will help them to secure artisanal to reduce equipment losses, we will secure their income. We will also create a new job with recycling and collection for youth, but also for women, and we will boost coastal tourism through cleaner sea and ecosystem. And finally, regarding the institution, ghost gear recovery will be embedded in national policy, and hundreds of fishers and volunteers will be trained with skills that outlast the project. And I think that Tunisia at the end will be considered as a reference actor in the fight against ghost gear. Where we are actually, we built until now a stakeholder network because we were at many, at many meetings, and we try to establish a network between key Tunisian institutions active on ghost gear and marine debris, such as APAL, Worldwide Foundation, the Ministry of Fisheries, and especially with the project with the same objective in order to complete our task and not to repeat them again and again. We actually apply for a consultancy to participate for a fin-scale mapping of abandoned and lost fishing gear in the Gulf of Gabes. And this work will be structured or will be conducted through structured surveys with artisanal fishers and professional divers. And we are waiting just for the approval. And also we request a letter of no objection that we submit to our Ministry of Environment in order to approve the methodology of our project in order to be able to conduct the work on the field. So why this matter? Because as you say, we are looking for a cleaner ocean, and at the end for resilient Tunisia, and we know that everything is ready to ClearMed is ready to be launched because we have partners, we have technology, and we have almost secured the financial support. And we are actually waiting only for the support of our ministry in order to unlock the project and to confirm our activities, and to confirm also that Tunisia is committed to circular and inclusive blue economy within the Mediterranean. That's all. Thank you. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate.
Thank you, Randa. So we need to go to the next project. It's the Safe Turtles by Marius. Is it
Yes,
here?
that's me. Yeah, thank you. So let me share my presentation and put it in presentation mode. I hope it's okay now.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you, the organizers of this event, for getting us, all of us together. It's been really interesting to learn about all the projects so far, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the rest of projects. So my name is Mariluz Parga. I work for a marine conservation NGO based in Mediterranean Spain, in Barcelona. I've also added here Sandra Andraca, who is the person in charge of Eco-Pacific. That's a small consultancy based in Costa Rica. And she's been a great collaborator of me whenever we've done work in Latin America, in Central and in South America. So all of the work that I've done so far, I couldn't do it without her. So I am a wildlife veterinarian. For some time, I worked at the Sea Turtle Rescue Center based in Barcelona. And back in 2006, I got involved in a large sea turtle bycatch reduction program led by many different large organizations, NOAA, WWF, a Japanese foundation, to try and reduce the incidental capture of sea turtles by the mahi-mahi longline fishery in all of the Eastern Pacific. They tried different hooks, they weren't really working well, so they called a vet, and that was me, and I was working with the fishers on board the fishing vessels to try and see how they could remove hooks, whichever they were, how it was possible to work on board those fishing vessels, which is not the same as in the comfort of a rescue center, what tools were really useful, which ones were not. I spent with them a month, and since then I've been working on different fisheries, mostly in Latin America, in Mexico, again in Ecuador, but also in Spain, in Italy, in Mexico. Again, learning with the fishers to see when a sea turtle comes on board, what can they do? Because it's not as easy as the normal manuals make it look. To open the mouth of a big sea turtle without getting bitten, it's not that simple. So that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. And then I've also been doing a lot of training workshops with fishers, with fishery technicians, with authorities in different parts of the world. Again, mainly in America, mostly the Pacific side of Latin America, but also in the United States, in Brazil, and in Europe up till this year. Now I will explain, I've only really worked in Spain and Italy. But the nice things was we were exchanging information. So I was working with fishers. They did understand that I had already worked on fishing vessels, so they kind of trusted what I was explaining them, and they would share with me what they did in their fishing vessels when they captured the sea turtle. And I would give them the anatomical, the physiological reasons for the recommendations I was giving to them. They would explain to me what they were doing, what tools they had developed. Some of them were amazing, so I would take on that knowledge to the next workshop, maybe in another country. So slowly over the last 20 years, I've been managing to understand everything from a veterinary point of view, but also to understand things from a fishery point of view, and to get solutions from one country to another. And this again has been going on for 20 years, but when I applied to be a part of a Decade Action, We were involved in two larger projects. One of them was in Peru, the other one was in Costa Rica and in Panama. Again, doing the same. Over these 20 years, we've been getting the funding from different sources, through contracts, through calls for proposals, collaborating with many different governments, NGOs, around Latin America mostly. So this project in Peru was a contract by the Ministry of Fisheries. They wanted to start an official and obligatory training for all mahi-mahi fisheries in Peru. So over 10 years, I was invited there. I did a characterization of the fishery. I went to all the fishing harbors, talked to all the fishers. So, how was the fishing gear? How were the boats? What was the behavior of fisheries? Turns out in Peru, they were very concerned and they wanted to remove the hooks from the animals because they thought a swallowed hook was horrible. And, in that case, I tried to explain them it's not that horrible. It's actually better if you leave the hook there. Other places, they need to remove the hook because they're too expensive and they cannot have the luxury of not removing the hook. So depending on the behavior and the situation of the people there, we change recommendations depending on the type of the hook, the size of the hook, the material of the hook, the size of the fishing vessels, for example. So with all that information, we defined best practices for that fishery in Peru. And with that, we developed all the training material in the form of PowerPoint presentations, and we did the training of the trainers, so we could lift the capacity in the country, and they could then train all the fishers over the next years, because that's now an officially obligatory course that all fishers have to go through, like in the States, to be able to go out fishing if they're going for the mahi-mahi longline fishery. And the other one that we were doing was in Costa Rica and Panama, again, in strong collaboration with the two governments. But this was, for example, not a contract, but it was funded by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation from the United States. And here we did the same over a couple of years, well, over a few years, actually, because it was a 4 or 5 year project. First, we did a characterization of the fishery, and we realized actually the mahi-mahi longline fishery is very different between Costa Rica and Panama, and actually in Panama is very different from harbor to harbor. And you can see they even use different hooks. The boats are different sizes. So again, the recommendations completely changed nearly by harbor. So we defined the best practices according to everything that we had learned. And in Costa Rica, we did do a lot of training of fishers. We trained over 400 fishers, all in Costa Rica. And we developed a training course so that we could lift the capacity in the country. But in that case, the government preferred that we left a set of training videos with voiceover. So everything was perfectly explained in those set of videos. And the trainers didn't have to be so knowledgeable about what they were explaining because everything was explained in the videos. And we also developed a manual so they could understand everything and be able to discuss things with the fishers. Now, when I applied for the action, those were the two main projects we were carrying out. We were working everything in the Pacific, in the Eastern Pacific. So that's how I presented the Decade Action. Since then, most of my funding came from the United States, from the Bycatch Reduction Engineering Program, from the NOAA, from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. We were starting to collaborate a lot with the IATTC, the Inter-American Tropical Tuna Commission, but funding stopped going to non-US countries and led by non-US researchers. So when those two projects finished, my work actually in the Pacific stopped, and I continue looking for funding, but so far with no luck. So the good news is that I did manage to secure funding for Europe, and I had never worked in Europe, or not a lot. And that's something I was really looking forward to. So last year they confirmed we managed to get a Horizon Europe project, and Horizon Europe is a big call of proposals of the European Commission for research innovation projects in Europe. So I was part of this consortium. They are usually huge projects, so I'm just doing a small part of it. The project is called the Sea for Future, and I will be doing a task within this project, which is the same, developing best practices, very specific for specific fisheries. And I will be working in the whole Mediterranean basin, South Europe and Northern Africa. Actually, Tunisia is one of the countries that I'm hoping to collaborate with. And we will be doing best handling and release practices, not just for sea turtles, but also for seabirds and for elasmobranchs, for sharks and rays. And not just in longline, but also in trawling, in trammel nets, depending on the fishery of each country and depending on the main problem of those fisheries. So where best practices have most sense. That will be for the next 4 years, and we're already working on that, contacting different countries, different researchers, working already with fisheries in those countries. And that's really what I'm doing in a nutshell. Happy to answer any questions if there are any later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm afraid we don't have enough time to take a Q&A, but please put your comment and the question on the chat box. There are many things going on there. So the next presentation is Global Plastic Ingestion Bioindicators. Is Matthew here or someone from the project? No? Okay, so they couldn't attend. So next one is Agile Fishing for Litter by Francesco. Is not here? Okay, so next one is a SustainMare, Protection and Sustainable Use of Marine Area. I think Hoppe is here. Yeah.
Yes.
I can see you.
Yes, it's Guy. Thank you. I'm sorry. I did not prepare any slides for this. I'm just can tell you what SustainMare is and how I come to be here. SustainMare is a so-called research mission in the early 20s. The German Marine Research Alliance, the DAM, decided to set up rather large projects for different research fields, and so we have this one mission is called SustainMare. It is about protection and sustainable use of marine areas. It has 7 projects, 250 people, 26, almost all of the German marine research institutions are participating in our mission, and we have a really big, diverse basket of themes that we have, like the future of fisheries in Germany, because probably heard that coastal fisheries is collapsing in Germany. We have marine spatial planning and offshore wind farms. You can see that here in the background. This is one of our main topics. We are also talking about biodiversity, climate change, integrated. It's what attracted me to the mission, that it seems to be the future of integrated coastal zone managements. That's where I was active like 25 years ago, and somehow we never got anywhere. And in SustainMare, we have a combination of computer modelers, of benthic ecologists like I am. We have engineers, we have many people from the social sciences. So we try to get the connection between all the stakeholders in the ocean, in the coastal areas, together to solve the problems of overuse of the oceans and kind of get it in a sustainable way. We have a lot of topics in the marine protected areas here, like ground touching gear, we have one project that's mainly concerned with marine munitions, the explosive stuff that they threw into the sea like 80 years ago, and which finally Germany is trying to get rid of. It's about 2 million tons in our seas. So there's a large effort in starting to get this stuff out of the sea. And I'm the manager. I have to try to get these diverse topics under my head, and I have to coordinate like these 250 people. So this was set up as a national effort, but of course, in short time we noticed that we do really need the international connection to the European Union, to ICES. We're very active at ICES, and of course globally with the UN decade. But we do not have a lot of funding to really integrate our work into the international context. So it's mainly, our idea is mainly to share what we find out about the German waters in a wider context in the European waters especially, but also farther about if we can. This is the mission has started in December 21. The first phase was for 3 years, and we are now in the middle of the second phase. So in November 27, we will be finished. And then we have another, hopefully, that we're in the application phase already for the last phase, where we want to do a bit more about implementing what we found out in Germany mainly, but also to reach out for the international community and share what we found out here. And already I'm hearing here a lot of connecting points, like the seabirds. We have been modeling what the seabird colonies or the populations in Germany are doing with the wind farms, for example. Or we have what we heard about Randa talking about the fishermen. We have a Sea Ranger project, or it's finished now, but we have a Sea Ranger project where the fishermen who are running out of fish actually in the Baltic Sea in Germany, who train to be help us in the research, because they can get into regions where the large research vessel cannot reach. And they do environmental stuff, they do educational stuff. So I already see a lot of connections to quite a few things that I'm hearing here, and I hope to continue that in the future. Like I said in the early, we joined SmartNet like in 2023, and I must admit I did not have really the time to really dive into it, to really concentrate on what you are doing on the international context. But we hope that in the second phase, and especially in the third phase, we can do more and show off what we're doing and get more connection going in the research community worldwide. Thank you very much. That's so far what I can say.
Thank you, Kai. So next one is, I think, INCT-BBA. I think someone from this project is here. Oh, yes, I see the Amazonia. You ready to speak?
Just a minute. Yes, the Institute of Blue Amazon in Brazil, yeah? Okay, yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you name is.
Okay, sorry. Yes. Can I already share? Yes. And also see if it. Oops. Just a minute. Is sharing already?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. There's so many things on front of. Okay, so sorry, can you see the full screen? Yes?
Yes, now yes.
Yeah. I watching just the screen? Are you watching as well, people aside of my presentation? I don't know. Let's see if I have to do this. Okay, can you hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay, so I remember when I received the email, and she advised me for a 5 minutes presentation. So I tried to do my 5 minutes presentation. Actually, it's going to be a very simple one. I'm just going to introduce for you what is the National Institute of Science and Technology for the Blue Amazon Biodiversity in Brazil. So that's the project, is the institute that I work with in Brazil. Just to start, I don't know what's not going. Just a minute. Yeah. Just to say now that we are aligned with the global and national initiatives as well, not just with the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, of course, Ocean Decade and SmartNet, but with our as well action plan for the ocean in Brazil, and the many actions and programs in Brazil that are started since the beginning of the Ocean Decade. So we align our goals in our institute to deal with all this in order to strengthen, as we are doing now, effort. So, but first, let me start to say what is the Blue Amazon, isn't what you say about Blue Amazon. We say the Brazilian Blue Amazon is a word that you are talking about our territorial sea, exclusive economic zone, and our extended continental shelf. So in Brazil now, when you say Blue Amazon, in order for people to, it's more or less to make a parallel with our Green Amazon. So then people understand that's our richness, but not only on land, as everybody in the world knows about Brazilian Amazon, but is known at sea as well. So we now have this word since the last decade. It's coming more and more common in Brazil. Everybody, when you say Blue Amazon, people understand that's all our seas, which means all these three categories that I mentioned here. And it means 5.7 million kilometers squares of area, not talking about volume, of course. Okay, so that's a huge area. It's about almost a half of Brazil. Okay, so just to make you understand what is the Blue Amazon. Okay, so what we are actually the INCT we call BA, INCT BA. It's a network, okay, of cooperation in science and technology to build capacity for research. So you are a network of researchers, okay, with the same goals that align with all these national, international programs. That means that we are integrating our research, we are integrating capacity as well. We are in a multidisciplinary way. So in order to do that, and to hold these beautiful goals that everybody is saying here, you need to be practical, no? And how can we be practical about is really to build networks, but networks that work really. So, and if you want to integrate, you need as well a broad capacity of people, in order to work together and actually use our effort to propose mitigation strategies as well for conservation of our biodiversity. So we are actually summing up, we are just a network of researchers, to trying to connect not only research and science, but everything that's related to research and science, of technology, contacts, as well, and so being the protocols, and so all these that can really broad this net together. So actually we had a lot, and actually to reach all these objectives, you need to be practical. Now, what is practical? Is science. You are talking about ocean, so science in the ocean. So science in the ocean means what? Cruises, mean logistics as well at sea. So we are trying to get all these together. So because of this, our institute is arranged in 6 thematic groups, of course, marine biodiversity, but you have as well biotechnology and bioinformatics, oceanography, public policies, oceanographic logistics, and outreach and education. So in order to organize the institute and trying to do the in a multidisciplinary way for people to talk to each other really. And so people that are bringing knowledge, our people like from marine biodiversity, biotechnology, bioinformatics, oceanography, they're giving information for our public policies group, which they are now building many documents about. So that's what I'm talking about here in the Institute. It make different, is get a lot of people and organize these a lot of people to trying to reach the goals that the Ocean Decade wants. So under here is just our, it's a kind of our hierarchy, just for you to understand how we work. And our 5 major approaches: data collection, is database aggregation, is integration, analysis, and synthesis of this data to generate recommendations, sampling and deposition of biodiversity representatives in scientific collections, and so on. So here you can understand that we mean data, you mean sharing data, you mean organizing data, sharing collections, applying as well research for biotechnology. So I didn't go through so many slides here, because to do this, we are doing a lot of different strategies. Like we organized last year cruises in all regions of Brazil at the same time. It was the first time it happened in Brazil. We call our synchronized cruise in the 4 regions of Brazil. And the thematic was the cruise that were studying the interference of continental waters, big continental waters. So you can imagine Amazon River in the north, like Guanabara Bay in the southeast, San Francisco River in the northeast, and Lagoons Pato, Patos Lagoon, sorry, in the southern Brazil, and the influence of these big continental water masses influences in the coastal areas. So you did all this last year. So you are in the last 3 years as well. We are doing a big database of all the peer review marine biodiversity papers, all peer review papers, and it's a big and a huge database. So that's our products in order to reach all these goals and the same that we are now actually sharing, like our partnership with SmartNet and so on. So that is the Institute. It's a net of people doing all these things together, So, and as I say, in order to just organize the cruise, you need the logistic group. In order to get people in this cruise, you need the researchers from the marine biodiversity and oceanography groups. And then after analyze the data and getting all our knowledge, we needed the public policies group in order to, translate that into public policies, and then you have, sorry, what I forgot, the outreach and education group as well, to send all this information that our institute is bringing, and all these our activities and products to the people actually in Brazil that are paying us, that are our the population, Brazilian population, because our institute is funded by government money. So you need to talk to people that are giving money to us, what we are doing. So, and that is all, the people involved, and actually is missing now because we are now 135 more or less members and more than 30 institutes involved. So that was a summing up what we do. So if you have anything that you want to share with us, if you want to connect, with our cruises, our group, our marine biodiversity groups as well, we are very welcome. And I hope, trying to be brief in my 5 minutes and in order to understand what is our institute in Brazil. Thank you so much, SmartNet, for the invitation.
Thank you very much. Well, so we used up all 90 minutes already. However, we would like to extend the time because it's so important for that everyone can showcase their activities. So I hope everyone can stay for a while. So next project is Rio Fishing for Litter by Maria.
Hi, yes. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Great. So let me share my screen. Don't see the option to share only the presentation. So I think I need to share my entire screen. Let's see if it works.
Okay.
Can you see the presentation?
Sure.
Oh, can't find presentation mode. Oh my God. Okay, let's go. So
we are not seeing the presentation mode.
You are not? Where is it, Pedro? The presentation mode in here?
It's below. Yeah.
It's, I can see it.
And the arrow just below the, probably
No.
there. No.
Sorry, it's a different program. I think we should go like this.
Yeah, I can see. Sorry, because this is different from my Mac, so I cannot help. But the presentation is large enough, so I think everyone can see that.
Okay, sorry for that. So let me try to present quickly our project in Brazil. So it's the Fishing for Litter program, closely related to ODCC project. You'll see. We are not yet an endorsed project. We are trying to. So Bivrio is a group of entities, and we are from Bivrio Institute in Brazil, which have works in these 3 broad sectors. So for Fishing for Litter, where are we? So we are in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in Guanabara Bay, which was mentioned by INCT. We should definitely engage. So Guanabara Bay is the 2nd largest bay in Brazil. Is very important economically, socially, and ecologically. So and it is also one of our main postcards in Brazil. However, our postcard seen from below, in many areas, what we see is this. Some areas which don't have a good waste management infrastructure. So that's what we see in these areas. The sea can carry really large waste materials like sofas, mattresses, TVs, and everything you can imagine. So the context is that we have decades of accumulated pollution in the bay because of severe urban pressures and a poor waste management infrastructure with severe environmental, social, and economic losses because of that. And these impact a lot in the fishing activities and the artisanal fishing communities that live around the bay. And there are no public initiatives for the collection and the removal of the solid waste in the bay. There's no governance over that. That's why we created the Fishing for Litter program, whose objectives is help mitigating the solid waste pollution negative impacts in marine and coastal ecosystem in partnership with local artisanal fishing communities, generating social and environmental benefits with associated knowledge production. So the Fishing for Litter activities in Guanabara Bay are running since 2021, and they happen twice a week, 2 mornings a week, with a group of 20 fishers. So they collect the waste, they sort, they weigh the materials, and they register in our mobile app. And we try to, of course, improve the waste destination. A small part of it can be recycled, so it's directed to waste pickers cooperatives. The vast majority goes to the municipal cleaning company, to sanitary landfills. But we try to find other paths. So we have a pyrolysis pilot with the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, and also a partnership with Havaianas, which is a flip-flops brand, to recycle their flip-flops, which we collect. So I would say that the Fishing for Litter integrates, has this large benefit of integrating local vulnerable communities and their traditional knowledge in environmental conservation activities. With that, we develop the PES systems in Brazil. We help develop that, which are payments for environmental services. We help create green jobs and promote the green economy using low-cost materials and technologies. And we consider that this project is highly replicable, especially in the Global South, but not only. And for the fishers, at the same time that they receive an important revenue to sustain their families, they also help mitigate the pollution problems in the ecosystems they rely upon. Aligned with that, we are also helping build capacity for these fishers. And we are proud of our monitoring system, because this is there's a huge lack of data still in Brazil. So we have this Collect app, which is a mobile app, our technology. And it is the first global multi-material waste traceability app. It's working very well in some countries already, and it integrates the whole waste chain. It's built for social inclusivity, in the sense that it was built for waste pickers to be able to participate of that. So it uses GPS location and real-time data when you register the transaction in the exact time. It has a facial recognition tool, so even the for example, people that don't have a smartphone can participate, and it generates an online database that can be used for studies. So this is the dashboard of Collect. Just to give an example, we have the details for each transaction and photos and in the exact time of the transaction. And then we can easily get this kind of data, the distribution per type of materials. So we can see that nearly 80% is plastics in total, because mixed waste has plastics, rubber is mainly plastics, textiles contains plastics. So it's a huge amount of plastics, which is one of the most harmful materials. We also work a little bit with public awareness when we have cleanup days involving the population. And we have some consolidated partnerships. Ogyro is the main funder of the program since 2021. Pity that they are not here today, but we are closely related already. And we have partnerships with at least three labs in the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. The first one let us use the space, the hangar space, for some activities. The second one is the one with which we are doing some pyrolysis tests with flexible plastics. And the third one, Lance, it's a lab that do some research on the path of waste inside Guanabara Bay. So, sorry, yes, that's right. So we have currently a social impact of nearly 100 fishers benefited with increased income, with building, with capacity building, and public awareness. And environmentally, we already collected more than 500 tons of solid waste from the Guanabara Bay ecosystems. Only around 10% of it can be sent for recycling. So the project received a lot of attention in the press. We think this is a very useful thing we can use these media to attract attention for the problem. And that's it. Here are our contacts for further partnerships. I'm sorry, my time is over or not? It is.
Okay, thank you very much. So next, we will have a newly endorsed partner program here, and five of them. And is there someone from Mariculture Overview in Caribbean here? Okay, no. Then I know the Palma Azul Bonaerense representative just left the meeting, so they're not here. And then I believe there's someone from C2.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Mina,
Okay.
welcome. So please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I tried to share my screen. I have a short presentation. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, maybe it's coming. Is it already on?
No, unfortunately, I cannot see.
Okay, maybe I'm having a bad connection then.
Or Catherine, do we have a presentation for Mina? C2?
Yeah, I
Yes,
sent
we
it. Let's
have.
try again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
we can see your
We can
great.
see. Yeah.
Okay, and now it should be in the presentation mode also. So thank you for inviting us here. My colleague Helmi from the Jon Nurminen Foundation is also present in the meeting. And Jon Nurminen Foundation is a private Finnish NGO, so we are based in the Northern Europe in Finland on the shores of the Baltic Sea, which is a shallow, semi-closed, cold coastal sea basin in the Northern Europe. And the mission of the Jon Nurminen Foundation is to save the Baltic Sea and its heritage for the future generations. And our work started for the Baltic Sea in the beginning of 2000s. And since then, we've been implementing approximately 40 different projects to improve the state of the Baltic Sea. It's heavily eutrophied. So the main challenges, in addition to the climate change, of course, is the overload of nutrients from land-based sources. So that's one of our main action goals. And another one is to restore the biodiversity in the Baltic Sea. And we also work to save the cultural heritage for the future generations. So we also work with people and the cultural connection between sea and people. And the C2 project presents all of our goals in that sense that in the project we prevent the loss of the Baltic Sea important habitats by restoring them in practical at practical project sites. For example, in this picture, a diver is planting seagrass, which is eelgrass, common eelgrass in the Baltic Sea. And we also have some stone reef restorations ongoing this year. C2 project started in the beginning of 25, and it will be lasting for 5 years. So in the end of 29, we hope to be achieved more than 10 restored habitats in the Baltic Sea region. And we also work to strengthen the connection between people and the sea by working with communities, local artists, local people, collecting their memories and experiences of the sea, and try to find the key to every person's heart and bring the marine nature closer to people, and that way solve the challenge behind kind of the root cause of the biodiversity loss, that people are not connected to the sea and they don't appreciate it and they don't maybe know what is beneath the surface. So we hope to bring that marine life visible to people. And since I was given 2 minutes, I think I've used it. So that is everything for now, but we certainly hope to collaborate with all of you. It has been extremely inspiring to learn about the SmartNet program and all the projects present here, and we hope to network more and learn more about the activities you are doing all around the world. So thank you.
Thank you, Mina. So next one, gear up toward sustainable fisheries. And I think a representative of this project had to leave earlier. Probably no. Okay, so this is the end of the presentation, and thank you very much for all the speaker. And sorry about our project for bad planning. And I know you have a lot of questions and the comment, and I myself have a lot of questions to all of you, and also I wish I could talk with you more. But however, we will keep connecting you, and we will share the resources of this today's event and also other event through our network, so that you can communicate later. And Stephen and Dave, anything to add?
Yeah, there's another conference on ecosystem-based fisheries management next year in Penang called FIMEC, FIMEC. It hasn't got a website yet, so I can't point you at it, but it would be an interesting place to go. And there's also the upcoming conference on biodiversity that's I can put up on the chat as well, but I don't think it has a website either. Oh, there we are. Whee! But as I've still got the floor, if you want to, just email me and I'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'll say I just put the link to the Pisces annual meeting, which is going to be in October in Canada, in the chat as well. So we're hoping that some or all of you can potentially participate in that as well.
Okay, so thank you very much, and again, sorry again for the bad planning, but I appreciate you stayed through the end. So see you next time, hopefully soon. We will plan the similar networking event regularly. Okay, thank you very much, and
Thank you, everybody.